I came for the picks. I came for the plays. I came for Sheets to help make me some money tonight. So what are we going to do, man? Seems like we've got a lot of news that's going to break probably right near or after lock or right after lock.
Well, the first thing we have to do is for me to catch up because I am still updating the new projections, which I haven't updated since noon. Why don't you keep me updated on what's occurred since noon?
So the Porzingis is out officially.
Oh, okay.
Which, I think there might be an overreaction to this type of news because pretty much all the back-to-backs all year long, they sit Porzingis on one end, they sit Horford on the other end. I don't know that it's going to make look, you could make an argument for like Luke Cornett, and if you want to do a bunch of spend downs, I think that obviously it improves all the good guys, Tatum, White, Holiday, Brown. But the problem is there's a lot of stuff that's out there. There's two players, Minnesota. Edwards and McDaniels are both questionable, that they're midday downgrades. So there could be a lot of value there. We still don't know about Duncan Robinson, which is really important because, they just don't have that many guys, and he's going to be really popular, but also it's going to make someone else look even better if he's out. So I think you sort of start with the games a little bit, and game by game, I'm just probably, outside of spending up for some of the Boston stuff, probably going to be off the earlier set of games until that we get.
All right. So you touched on the next thing I was going to ask you was what is that news that you were implying could occur after lock? So you're saying that Edwards is questionable and it's a late day one, which is as you mentioned, that's usually not a good sign.
Yeah.
And there's the and then you said McDaniels is questionable as well.
And reading the tea leaves, it does seem a little like they're 8-point favorites. I don't think Minnesota would ever be like less than a double-digit favorite unless they thought someone was major was sitting, even on the road. So makes me feel a little bit more like at least one of McDaniels or Edwards sits.
You think that maybe McDaniels or Edwards sits? Okay.
Yeah. And MJ saying Lathan is saying that Duncan Robinson is available. I didn't get that official news. It must have just come out because it wasn't there like literally when I got in this room. I still have him as questionable, but I'm gonna trust Lathan for now and say that I think it's more the other stuff that they're waiting for. You also have the Lakers situation, which again I just pointed out because they're 10.5-point favorites against the Pistons now. And LeBron and AD are, as usual, questionable. There's a lot of speculation out there that one of them may sit. And the fact that they're only 10.5-point favorites against Detroit. Now you say, well, 10.5 is a big spread, but it's against Detroit at home. It probably would normally be 15 or so, just based on the way we've seen Detroit play this season. But maybe that's overreading. But I'm just thinking about that one, And it looks like officially Duncan Robinson is in, for what it's worth.
So I imagine I'm gonna be able to view the projection in literally like 1 minute. My question is, so who's do those Miami guys seem like still the best values, like for now at least?
Yeah, those guys are still the best for now. Yeah, it's not going to be. I don't think you're going to see like it's going to look even more Miami focused right now. You look at the projections right now.
Yeah, I'm just updating them now, and I'm just uploading to the site now, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 6-point per dollars are from that game, and then you got once again it looks as though what's his name, Isaac is still looking like a good value there. Do we still like him?
So I'm going to have one set of lineups, and it might even be a big one with Isaac, but it's because I believe he can get like 8 to 10x. I still think that. I don't think you need to play him, to put it that way. I think that there's going to be a very common build out there where it's going to be 3 Miamis. It's going to be De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis, and it's going to be Jason Tatum is going to be like the natural starting point for everyone, in my opinion. And I think that I think you'll get some people playing Isaac, but I'm not saying don't play him. I'm just saying that keep in mind you might be giving up on some other stuff later where Naz Reid might end up being the best play on the slate. He still looks like a good play, but Naz Reid is the way I treated it was I'm treating Naz Reid as more of a priority now than I am, just because in case one of those guys sits or both of them, at least I'm getting the value from that later game.
I have to apologize to one guy in the chat. I forget who it was. Somebody came in. I think it's a little mad in Discord. They said, why would you play Tyus Jones? He ended up, smashing whatever. Remember, I just kind of got to it. So I couldn't help myself. But dude, you're always supposed to play Tyus Jones when Morant is out. So I guess you appreciate that. So I put in the Discord something, and I wanted to ask you about it. Again, I'm really fiddling around with this idea of just kind of like, if you have like a take, just to freaking go with it and boost it and see what happens.
Yep.
I just commented that just for no other reason, just throw it out there. That Cole Anthony's $3,500. Yeah, he's coming off the bench, but hell, man, I mean, what's happened to him that he should be 3,500?
Well, I'll tell you, on top of that, even he has upside. He just put up 32 in the last game. Like, he's really been cut a lot out of the rotation for the most part, to be honest. He's only playing like his minutes were down in the low teens instead of like the 26 he was playing earlier in the season.
Okay.
But I kind of like that idea, Sheets. He would be I think that's a really good get different idea. And it is weird because I think he's actually going to have some ownership. I just think that I think it's too good of an idea, basically, is what I'm saying. It's too good of an idea for other people not to do it at least a little bit. But still, I like the play. I think it's going to be very low owned. I think if you wanted to go a different route, you could say, well, no one's going to play Jalen Suggs with all those 4K guys, or less people will play him. He's 4,600. Right. All of Orlando seems cheap, but as I keep trying to point out all season long, the reason they seem cheap is because these teams that play a lot of players, it's just like you're playing a little bit of a guessing game as to whose night it's going to be.
What kind of minutes do you expect from and you talk about, like, we talked about all this Miami value that people are going to play. What kind of minutes are you expecting or possibility for Haywood Highsmith at 3,200?
I would rather play Kevin Love, but
so would everybody else. That's my whole point.
Well, Highsmith, it's hard though, because we watched him play 30 minutes a lot this year and sometimes have 5 fantasy points, or 25 plus minutes, you know?
Right.
So it's hard to project his minutes exactly because they kind of have some bodies, and I am looking at him getting pretty high ownership, actually. I think he might actually end up more popular than Love.
Oh, okay.
So again, yeah, maybe you play Highsmith instead of Isaac. I kind of like the idea of Isaac a little bit over Highsmith, especially considering Highsmith. Well, I thought he was going to be more owned earlier in the day. Now I think he's going to be a little lower owned, but it's close.
And you mentioned that people are going to play. You mentioned Sacramento. First of all, let's go back to Boston for a second. With what's his name out, I am seeing that Horford is showing up as a play, and that just seems very, very obvious and logical. You mentioned Sacramento. You mentioned Sabonis and Fox. But what about the other two guys that you usually play more than most people? Well, you mentioned Malik Monk earlier. And also, what about Keegan Murray in that game as well?
I got to, so in my early builds, partly because I was, doing a little bit of a delay thing, I got to either Fox or Monk in my lineups. Either Fox, Monk, or Murray. Either Herter, Monk, or Murray, and one of Sabonis or Fox in all my lineups. That's the way I was going after it. Also, Trey Lyles is a midday downgrade as well. It's not that that's necessarily going to open up something else, but it does make Keegan Murray a much better play. It actually makes all of the top 6 for Sacramento better plays. So I'm kind of in even a little bit more on those guys than I was earlier today, just because if Lyles ends up sitting, those guys are all very, very strong plays.
You like
Jolly loves Highsmith. I would love to hear the argument of when people know to play Highsmith or when they don't, because he's one of the least productive players per minute. We've seen him play this year. I mean, to be honest, in terms of rotationally, I just want to point out something about Highsmith. He basically is in the worst position he's been in. This guy was starting all year long. You know what I mean? He was starting when there was no Bam and no Hero, and he was still barely getting to 18 fantasy points. They literally had nobody. He has no usage whatsoever. You're just counting on it's a good there's transition stuff that could happen for him, but I don't know. I personally, it could be, I don't know. They may end up starting Jovic, by the way. A lot of this depends on who Miami ends up starting. So I personally, if you want to play Highsmith, I get it. I personally am lower on Highsmith than I am all the rest of. He'd be my 7th player from Miami that I liked.
And are you limiting? Now, people ask me this a lot. Are you limiting any like Miami's? Like if you get to, like I'm getting to some builds with like 5 Miami's, like for example.
Yeah, I'm not doing that unless I'm playing Giannis or Dame or something.
Okay. And I like to check and see because I'm playing 50. I always play 50, but I'm going to play 50 even though it's a $10. I'm just going to play the 50. I'm not going to go higher, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to do is I like to go through my team stacks and see what I'd be getting, and actually not much. I'd be getting only like 2 of the 50 with like 5, and then 5 of them with 4. That's okay. I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have 3.
I think 3 is the number that makes the most sense to me.
I think so too.
And look, the Bucks have not been the same team this year. Otherwise, I would have a lot more concerns, and I have a little bit of concerns about the game getting out of hand.
Now, the good news also is that this Minnesota thing, I mean, well, the good news is whatever. The Minnesota thing's at 10. Okay. So you know, unless you really like something from the early games, like you said, you don't want to get too much exposure because if you get caught without being able, without being able to jam in like 100% Nas Reed, which maybe you'll have to do, you'll want to be able to do that if you have to.
Right, or even Nikhil Alexander Walker or whoever it is, which would all they'd all both be good plays. But I did think that and it's an interesting question. So I don't know how Power is getting this situation where he says he's got 1 spot left for Schroeder or Monk. But it did bring me back to wanting to talk about Schroeder. I don't really understand how you could have a lineup build where it's Schroeder or Monk. Their price differences are crazy. I don't think if that must be a FanDuel build, and there is no way I'd pay almost $7K for Schroeder. I think it's pretty nuts, but I would definitely play some of him on DraftKings. So I don't think they're comparable really. I mean, yeah, sure, Schroeder could have a game and outscore him, but you're getting Schroeder at less than 5% ownership on DraftKings. It's such a reach to play him on FanDuel. I just don't think you need to make that reach. You get less than 5% ownership already. So if you want to make that play it on DraftKings. Do not play Schroeder at 7, almost 7K. Would be an advice thing I say.
Yeah. What I forgot to do, I just ran my builds and I forgot to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to do it. I'm upping Cole Anthony just 2 points just to see what that does. I mean, it could.
I like that. Jeez.
It could make him a lot. I mean, I'm now putting him in with a 20-point projection at 3,500. I imagine I'm going to get to some of him.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get to too much of him. But I don't have this. Like I always say, this is the United States of America. I don't have to do anything. So,
yeah, you can do whatever you want.
That's what it looks like. But I wouldn't mind getting 15%, just for fun.
Yeah.
In the $10.
Yeah, I think I actually think you could. I think you could make a case to go like if you wanted to go higher, because I think that's actually going to be around the field, personally.
Yeah. So to give you an idea, when I up them by 2 points, I'm getting 88% Cole.
Yeah. But I'm not saying you should get 88% of them, but I kind of like that idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
Force that thing in, and that's a good differentiator. I also like that idea. I mean, we're gambling with Schroeder, but again, 4,800 is very different than the 6,600 or whatever. We've seen one game from him. I know he's not going to put up 38 every game, and it was the Spurs, but still, Schroeder at home against his former team. I don't know, man. It seems like he's being a little underprojected. If you ask me, it's still a speculative situation. Why does he only have to score 22 fantasy points?
He could score 40.
Yeah, so he's the guy I'm giving the boost to. I'm giving him a 2-point boost.
I like it. And 2 points for him isn't going to be that big a deal, I don't think.
Yeah, well, it makes him though go to that. At least it gets him to 5x though.
Yeah. See if that puts him over the top. See if that puts you.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you do the builds like that, still getting to about I already was forcing him in. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'll have to run it. Probably is going to end up around 20% because I gave him 25 fantasy point projection. I think that's reasonable.
Right. Let's see if I can do this.
And all these other ones, these are not sure thing. There's a lot of value, and some of it's going to have to hit because of the Miami situation and everything. But it doesn't all a lot of it. It's all kind of speculative, right? Duncan Robinson is no guarantee. Hawkins is no guarantee. why wouldn't we incorporate some of these other, the Schroders into that mix?
Right.
I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
And this build I'm getting, boy, can you play all three of these Celtics together? Like White, Tatum, and Horford? I guess you could.
Yeah.
I don't think that's optimal. I don't think.
It seems a little bit much for me, but I definitely, hate it. Everybody's into this. So I wanted just to touch on the Fontecchio thing. I think I totally agree with that last comment in there by Dwayne, that he could easily be that super differentiator. You know what I mean? Because we don't know these new roles exactly, and he's playing for the Pistons, and we aren't really sure of exactly what to expect from him. I mean, he put up 30 something in the last game. He played 32 minutes, and yet he's projecting to play. No, he's projecting to play 28 actually. That's a pretty good minute number.
Right.
But the upside, he just played 32. So I don't mind that idea to get to some Fontecchio. That's an interesting get different guy. Dell's asking if I like Isaac. I like Isaac a little bit. I'm sure you're getting to him a little bit still too.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting a little too much of him, of course.
Yeah. Okay, guys, please click the like button. Pop in any questions or thoughts. I saw people talking about this kid from the young guy from Miami. It just wouldn't be in accordance with what they normally do to come out and play Alondas Williams a bunch of minutes.
Oh.
He has yet to play a minute.
Oh, wow.
And he's projecting for 6. So I am not playing Alondas Williams there.
What, he's got upside to 12? I mean, like,
it's just crazy. It's just way too over the top. I think we try to look for the extra value on some of these teams, but I think sometimes we got it. You can't look at like the 13th man on the bench, the last guy on the thing, and go there. Yeah, no, I know the Wolf. I know Wolf, but let me double check that last game too, because I don't want to just get into the habit of reading with some of these new trades. I want to just make sure that whether they're blowouts or what the situation was, it was a close game, right? He played really well. Yeah, that's right. It was a close game against the Clippers they played. Yeah, man, I certainly don't mind the Fontecchio idea. Also, the later game. How could everybody keep asking Isaac the Isaac question? I feel like we keep answering. Yes, we like Isaac a little. We're skeptical of having too much of him because he's in the first set of games, but we're probably going to end up playing with a decent percentage of him.
Yeah. For those of you that play hockey, Mitch Marner is out for Toronto. That's actually a big deal. I won't have time to read you the projections. So if you are playing hockey, I would literally, this is what I'm doing. I'm using the TrueDFS projections for every team except Toronto. And then I'm just using the SaberSim ones for Toronto. That's the best I can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you playing FanDuel at all?
Yes, I am playing on FanDuel. It's a little bit of a different build over there. I haven't finalized my things, but early on, like I noticed that I was getting to more of these. It's just the value wasn't like screaming as much for the Miami situation. So more of the guys in like the 5K range and the 7 and 8K plays, I just found showing up more like, Beal, more Caleb Martin I have currently over there, although I'm still waiting to see if he starts. Even 5,800 for Naz Reid, if either McDaniels or Edwards are out, I think is a shot I'm willing to take. Herder's 5,300 over there. That kind of stood out a little bit. I like both Fox and Sabonis. Sabonis getting a little less love over there because he's closer to Giannis and Davis and Price.
Yeah.
And I did in my first build today. I got to Davis. I used Davis and Cunningham, and then I played the Fox and Murray and basically all of the Miami stuff. But I think you can do that and just get different in those spend uppy spots. And I like that on DraftKings, and I think on FanDuel you can do something similar. Let me just update my FanDuel here. Shout out to SaberSim, by the way, for how they have it organized now, where you can have them both next to each other on the screen. It was
I'm still fumbling with it.
Yeah, I just think it's cooler than it was. Yeah, it's wild. On FanDuel, you only have 5 players projected at 5x tonight.
So it's like that, I think, on FanDuel, though. I think
3 players who project. Yeah, no, it is. You're right.
Much above that.
Feels like a little more than usual tonight, but it's true. You're right. They did a job of trying to price up some of the Miami stuff.
Like I'm getting couple of weird plays over there. Like I'm getting to like Matthias Thybulle.
Yeah.
And then
those are the ones that are going to show up. Yeah.
and even Jay Crowder.
Oof. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right.
I mean, I guess I get it because you just don't have that value over there, and I guess, and I mean, Crowder has a ceiling. That's actually not that crazy. It's just, it's
but he was getting his stuff done with when Lillard was out. I mean,
yeah, that's true. But the minutes have been much stronger. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just a matter of, do you want to spend less than $5K for somebody? He would be, I guess, one of the guys you consider. Jaden McDaniels, if he did play, would be another one. But I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, like, make sure that you late swap is appropriate.
Yep. Durant birthday narrative. I don't mind Durant as a play.
Jalen Durant or Kevin Durant?
Jalen Durant.
Okay.
I don't mind the Durant as a play anyway. He's a reasonably priced, but I didn't find my way to go out of my way to get to him tonight. But I think he's totally solid. Lakers, as I've said all year, Anthony Davis has been great because he's such a great help side defender in large part. They've given up a lot of points to big men.
A couple of people throughout the industry were bringing up maybe the idea of playing Spencer Dinwiddie maybe as a long shot play. You like that?
This is the thing that you're going to have to explain it to me, or someone's going to have to explain to me this thing. So we now have Dinwiddie in the most speculative spot he's been in this whole season. The least he has the most guys around him who are going to play a ton of minutes, who are going to eat up all the usage. And now we're going to play him at the same price we were just talking about how we would never play him at, or everybody in the industry talks about they never play him at. So it just feels like a little bit look, maybe he gets there. I just think I would rather take a shot with Schroeder.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the argument is just like a new environment, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps him out.
Yeah. And I'm just going to point out a few things for the people who are into this Cornet thing, just to talk about over the last games that he played that Porzingis missed, which he's had a ton of this year. I believe in those games, I want to make sure I'm right on this, but I believe he's averaging about 14 or 15 fantasy points. So I wouldn't be playing. People are going to remember that one crazy game, but that was without Horford also, and without Tatum and without Brown. I wouldn't go play Cornet and just assume he's going to have this monster game because Porzingis is out. Porzingis is always out. This happens every back-to-back they play. Porzingis sits one of the back-to-backs. So we've seen Cornet in this situation a ton before. I just want to use it as a reminder that don't just assume because we see news as if that we're over making it. We're making it into bigger news than it really has been, than it really is, in my opinion. And let me see. All right, what else do we have here? Detroit is weak on defense for guards. I can see. Sure, but what is the argument with this? I really trying to figure it out. Like,
which
I heard a lot of people saying it. It feels like one of those cool things people like to say and no one's actually going to do.
What?
Dinwiddie.
What team is he on?
Lakers.
The Lakers.
So he went from this same roster and starting in Brooklyn to now going to be coming off the bench for the Lakers, and now we want to play him? That just seems so bizarre to me.
But maybe you can argue that he's running with the second unit,
But no, but he doesn't, because it's LeBron or AD are in all the time, and then Reeves and Russell are the two offensive guys they run everything through. And Dinwiddie doesn't really hasn't done anything.
I do think that he would want to show out for the new team.
Sure. I don't know if he's, and they're playing Detroit. He could get some blowout run, but it just seems like a strange way to build. Like, I don't know. We have no idea what he's doing, and he's gotten nowhere near close. He's been letting me down as much as anybody, playing 39 minutes and being one of the main being this point guard for a team playing 39 minutes, scoring 20 fantasy points. And now we want to play him with questionable usage, questionable minutes, and we just want to load him up. I don't quite get it. Yeah, of course he's going to get less usage. Now, could he have one of those weird games where he hits 6 threes and make me look like an idiot? Sure, but that's going to happen.
I can't imagine the last time he hit 6 threes, but
no, he had some huge games. That's what's weird about him is he'll do like nothing and then he'll have like 60 fantasy points, but he'll do it's like once every couple months. I'm on none of the Lakers. I agree with the Bradley Beal. I'm on none of the Laker I think Russell's fine and Reeves is fine, but I would much rather do other things. I like the LeBron a little bit, and I really like Anthony Davis on DraftKings. I just think Anthony Davis is going to crush this matchup. He's also for whatever reason, he always kills Detroit. I don't know what that is, but all right.
When are you doing the site meeting?
It's at 7:30.
I might be a little late.
Yeah.
But that's I'll be there as soon as I can.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I have.
Nice.
Hey, like I said before, don't be afraid to take a stand with a couple of players. Don't be afraid. Well, obviously be around the late swap. That's obviously most important. And
yeah.
With Bobby back, you should always keep an eye on that Discord. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To see if something comes up. Mm-hmm. And that's all I have. So I'm gonna get
out. Yeah. All right, bud. We'll be in there. I'll finish up a couple things real quick.
All
just feeling second place. Good luck tonight, man. Do it again.
Later.
All right. No interest in Hachimura. Again, you see, here's the only thing I'm trying to understand, and I want to really get everybody think about it. I understand the Hachimura thing that he had a good game in the last time out, and he's been playing minutes. He's going to cut into Dinwiddie, and Dinwiddie's going to cut into him. They're going to play different. I mean, it's just weird that we would start playing guys when it's like the least optimal time. So that's why I'm not doing it. Now, does it mean it can't happen? No, of course not. He can definitely be fine. But I have him ranked like 75th out of all the players today, just because there's no reason to play guys in the worst spots they're in rather than the guys who are at the better spots. It's pretty straightforward for me. All right, I'm looking real quick. I was going to say, I'm going to commit a little bit more to Kevin Love, and I'm definitely going to just take the chances on Naz Reid a little bit anyway. See what happens later. I do think I'm going to get to a little bit more of one of the spend ups from Boston, and that's going to be most of my early stuff. I will also play a couple lineups with Schroeder and a couple lineups with Jonathan Isaac. All right, let's see what's happening here. So Pingalore, let's see what the question is. Suggs is being run with Highsmith. I don't know what that means. Is that the question, Pingalore, or maybe was there another one that I didn't see? Hey, good luck to you, Wolf. So Davis had a bad game. If anybody ever says I don't like to play this guy because he had a bad game the last time I played him, just let me tell you that person is bad at DFS. Who's one guy you wouldn't go into a single entry without? That's a great question, Phila. Let me think of that one, actually. I think I would probably end up with Hero in most of my single entries. I am higher on Hawkes than most, so those would be the guys who stand out to me at first on DraftKings. I would also probably have one of Fox or Sabonis in a single entry. I like Fox a little bit more than most tonight. He's put up 50 in every game against Phoenix this year. So I guess maybe Fox or Sabonis, whichever you prefer. I like my Fox and Davis build to get a little, Fox Davis with Cunningham running back. That's sort of the way that I did it. But that's pretty much what I would say. I would say that one of the two studs from Sacramento, and then two of the Miami values, I guess you could say Hero, and for me, it'd be Hero and Hawkes. Robinson is certainly viable, obviously, as well. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see what Pingalore says. So because it's too high spend ups. I don't understand the question, Pingalore. It says Suggs being run with Highsmith. Yes, because of the too high spend ups. I really don't understand the question. I'm sorry, man. I would love to answer it. I think you're saying, do you want to play Suggs with Highsmith? There's so many other ways to go. I actually think Suggs, like I mentioned, I think that he's an interesting value option, but I'm more using later stuff for value. I'm lower on Highsmith than it seems like the crowd is, unless he ends up starting. And even then, I don't think it's like a lock. We've watched Highsmith score 10 fantasy points a million times when he plays a bunch of minutes, and it just doesn't always get there. He doesn't do much a lot of games. This is a game, good environment for him. So it's fine. Yeah, Suggs and Highsmith are fine in long and short, but I don't have any of those two together in my lineups, and I think there's plenty of other value, but I definitely don't mind. I don't mind it. I didn't get there personally. What else do we have? As Rody says, smash the like button. We're trying to do Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so Saber Sim ran a lineup. Yeah, but Suggs and Highsmith have nothing to do with each other. That's why I was trying to figure it out, because I thought you meant from the same game or something like that. Suggs and Highsmith are they're just two of the many speculative value plays that we're looking at today, I think. Brendan F asking Ivy Horford or Jaylen Brown Hawkes straight up. I like Jaylen Brown Hawkes better straight up. Feels like a funny price point thing that we were there. Brown and Hawkes I like a lot, so I'm in on that one. That would be mine. Who's a roller coaster? I don't know what's happening here. Who is your favorite large field GPP play? I mentioned a bunch of them. There's not really necessarily just one that I have. I'm definitely going to have more Anthony Davis than the field. I'm definitely going to have more, even though Fox and Sabonis are going to be owned. I'm going to be well over on both of them. So those are the spend ups I'm using the most. Tatum being the other one, along with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown getting a little less love than I thought he would so far. It looks like Horford, meh, fine, not my favorite. I don't mind a part of the Sar Thompson part. I don't. I'm trips. I'm actually okay with the SR Thompson thing. I would rather do that, the speculative play of that, than the speculative play of Rui, for example. All right, guys, I got to go finish building my lineups. We appreciate you. Please click the like button on the way out. Please jump into the Discord and the chat. You know, if you're a member of the site, you got to get in our Discord, because that's where you're going to get a lot of the late NBA news and a lot of the discussions of what we're doing afterwards when we find out that news. Hopefully we get it long enough in advance that I can decide what I'm doing. But I will post my exposures and all that stuff in the Discord for all the premium members. And we'll talk about what happens later tonight. And good luck to everybody. We'll see you at the top.